waves ignite for the chosen few. He's got the voice, the spirit, and the fire. Bigfoot, Michigan, Rob, taking us higher. He built a palace of cryptids in this lonely space. True Cryptid Encounters, volumes 1 and 2. Coming from the darkness, tell your own tale. He's starting the job out past the setting sun. He's Bigfoot, Michigan, Rob, until the work is done. It's a Bigfoot pirate rock and roll show. On the airwaves, watch the legend grow. Come join the beyond and hear the wild scream. Yeah! Bigfoot, Michigan, Rob. Time to open up your mind. Get ready to rock and roll. Yeah!
Boom. That's right. Boom. I must say, if that tune does not fire you up, mateys, I don't know what does. Thanks to Bigfoot Fidesz. Subscribe to her on YouTube. Does great work for myself, the Blondie and the Booze. Paranormal Paul. She does great stuff. Great work. She's awesome. She went live the other night with Bigfoot Dwarf or Bigfoot, Brown Dwarf. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Shout out to Fidesz. Yes, it is late night into the bizarre special edition, everybody. It's a little different format tonight. As most of you know, we've been doing the Gypsy Rose saga, and this is part 3. Now, before I get started, I'm going to walk you back a little bit. Part 1 was done on the Blondes and the Booze. Great turnout for that one. We talked a little about the true crime involved with that. Introduced all of the folks involved from Gypsy Rose, Dee Dee, the boyfriend. We did that. Last night on PRT, Paranormal Roundtable with Josh, we broke down more of the paranormal element. We talked about, vampirism. We talked about other things and some history. That was great. Tonight, Josh will be joining us when he's done on his show. And I was thinking, get old Rob, how am I going to fashion part 3? I think we're going to get back give a brief discussion about the crime itself. And I think we'll get into some of the paranormal stuff. And again, you guys, I am not, the Blondes are not, we're not true crime. We are paranormal, we're cryptids, we're this, that, and the other. So what we're going to do is kind of bring the first 2 episodes together. We're going to bring them all together and discuss what's going on. So with that being said, if this is your first time here, please subscribe to Bigfoot Mr. Rob on YouTube, the Blondes and the Booze on YouTube, Josh Turner, Paranormal Roundtable on YouTube, our buddy Monica Rollins, our Paranormal World. Subscribe to Paranormal Paul, and of course, Donnie Cho Says Stuff. Yes, indeed. Going to be a great show. And don't forget, mateys, the super chat's open. A great way to help support what we all do around here. Thank you. And you all can become BMR Pirates. Join the many, join the few, depending on your point of view. You know what you get? Yeah. You get a picture of good old BMR sporting a bandana in the chat room next to your name. That's what you get. Let's see who walks the plank tonight. Super chats are open. Become a pirate. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. Part 3, Gypsy Rose. Again, We talked about the true crime, the paranormal side with Josh, and we're going to bring it all together tonight and conclude this. With that being said, I'm going to bring up everybody, nobody in particular order. I'm going left to right. We got Natalie. Hello, Natalie.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Good to see you.
Great to see you too.
Thank you so much. To the right, next one here is Krista from the Blondes and the Booze. Hello, Krista.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello. And of course, Brandy. Hi, Brandy.
Hi.
How are you? Are you guys?
I'm cold, but I'm here. Yes.
You're cold. Yes, I got a story about that. And then, of course, Josh Turner, PRT. Thanks, Josh. Welcome to the show, brother.
It looks like we lost Mary Lynn, but I think she was having internet trouble. She's
out there in Nevada. You never know.
You never know what she's doing.
You never know what's going on with that.
She's in Louisiana, actually.
She's in Louisiana.
Tonight she is. Yeah, yep.
She's okay. Well, she'll be back when she's back. And Josh, is Rain going to join us a little later? Do we send her a link?
Could be, yeah. We think we just sent her the link.
Okay, cool. Because she's pretty cool. She's really well-rounded with this subject. And as I was saying earlier, Josh, when you're thank you very much, Josh, for coming on. You did your little show. I know you promoted this show. I caught some of that while I was in line getting ice melt at the Lowe's last minute, So thank you for that. Earlier in the show, I said, the Blondes and Booze was part 1. Everybody watched that. We talked about the true crime aspect. And on Josh's show last night, we kind of talked about the vampirism, the paranormal side. And as I had made mention, we're paranormal shows. We're going to get into that. And you did a good job breaking down the history of these demons. So we're going to kind of wrap this all in one ball of wax, kind of refer to both shows to put this to rest. And I did want to say something to everybody listening. Yeah, I don't really read comments, but for some of you out there, here's the thing. Mental illness is something we all know people. I have very close relatives that suffer from mental illness. I do not take it lightly. And this mental illness is something that runs in part of my family. And yeah, but what we're talking about here is not to disparage that, because people twist words. And some of the comments have been about, oh, you guys, don't know what you're talking about. Let me tell you something, everybody listening. I just have to say this off my chest. Everybody on this panel has done a ton of research. This is going to be, after tonight's show, we're going to have over 8 hours of showtime. And we've all done our due diligence. We've done the research. We put our work into this. And of course, when we go to the paranormal side, that's just what we do, because it's involved in every aspect, especially when you're talking with serial killers and such. There's these vessels that are apparent, and the weak get taken over. And there is Rain. Hello, Rain.
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Rain. Rain has been on our first 2 podcasts, and I got to tell you, Rain, you did a fantastic job with your knowledge of the subject, and I want to give you your applause.
Thank you.
I do. Again, since you just joined us, thank you to who is this? I can't read you guys. You got
Zara Gonzalez.
Zara Gonzalez for the super sticker. Great way to start the show. And I also noticed we have a new pirate member. I don't know who that is. I saw it earlier. Thank you, whoever you were. I'm unfamiliar with the name.
It's Daniel Mahoney.
Thank you to Daniel Mahoney. Thanks for being on top of that. Thank you so much.
Daniel's one of paratroopers.
He's a Thank you. Thanks to the paratroopers for showing on up. Appreciate you guys.
Absolutely.
So again, the beginning monologue, I talked about Blondes and Booze. We broke down the true crime aspect, Josh, the paranormal side. So the last saga, we're going to tie this all together to end this great saga. So Rain, I'm going to put you on the spot just a little bit. Thank you, Bigfoot Fidesz. The super chat is open. That's right. Not to put you on the spot, Rain, and you know this. I don't want you to get into a 20-minute syllabus, but why don't we start first going back and talking just a little about reintroducing some of the characters, the witnesses, the actual Gypsy Rose and Dee Dee, just to be brief so people kind of get a handle on it, because I will tell you guys, it's not necessary to watch the first 2 parts, but you better watch parts 1 and 2 on the Blondes and on PRT, because it all makes a lot more sense.
I want to interrupt you real quick.
Yes,
Rob,
go ahead. always do go.
Do me a favor and throw Nellie a wrench so
Well-
she can control. It's the random files, so she can control
Random.
that,
Okay.
please.
I'll get to that. I'll do that. Thanks. I didn't know she is she's so many different people now.
Yeah, it's the random files. That is Nellie.
I could do that. Rain, why don't you just give a brief introduction about the true crime aspect, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, so Gypsy Rose Blanchard was a young girl that was put on trial with her boyfriend, Nick Godejean, for the murder, the unaliving of her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard. They had been caught after they ran away from the scene of the crime at his parents' house in another state. When the details started coming out about the case, they painted it that Gypsy was a sick girl in a wheelchair with her shaved head, her missing teeth, and her boyfriend was a complete psychopath. Then they find out she can walk. And so then they say, oh, well, it was really the mother forced her to be sick and made her sick for money. So then they labeled the mom, Dee Dee, to have Munchausen's by proxy. And they went to trial. Nick got life, the boyfriend, and Gypsy got 10 years, but had gotten out after 8.5. And everybody kind of forgot about it. She went away. It was over with until she recently had just gotten out of prison, and she relaunched herself, and she's an internet sensation.
Unfortunately.
Uh-huh.
Lifetime channel, Lifetime series. Yeah.
Yeah. I think by the end of the show, let's wait till the end of the show and let's each of us go through and say whether we think she would, has the capability to unalive anybody else.
Yeah, that too. I was thinking too at the end of the show when we close this out. Victim, right? Culprit, instigator, with all of these people. The mom, even going back to the mom, and even the boyfriend, right?
Yeah. I don't know. This lady is just not right in the head. Nellie sent me a video earlier today, and I this evening, and I watched it. I'm like, this lady is just crazy. Just crazy. Yeah.
I don't know. I personally think that she just wants all the attention and everything that's happening with her now. I think that she's not getting the attention she wants, so she's going to more extreme measures to get what she needs.
Yeah. Yep. Do you think she has the capability to love? You know, there's a lot of serial killers out there that have that. I don't know what it's called, but they actually don't have the capability to love. Do you guys believe she does?
Like a sociopath?
Yeah, but I had a foster child, and actually I had to get him a psych eval, and he came back as diagnosed with that. And I can't think of what it's called, but they don't have the ability to love. They don't have empathy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he does? What do you guys think on that?
I can say what I think, but I don't want to take up a bunch of time. So somebody else go first, and then I'll open my opinion.
I don't think she knows what love is.
No.
She has this fantasy of what love is. And because of the trauma, some inflicted by external and also internally, I don't think that she is capable of it. And even though she craves some sort of affection or what she refers to as love, I don't think that she has the ability.
Right.
We're talking about Gypsy Rose, right? Not Dee Dee. We talked about.
Correct.
I missed
Gypsy Rose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gypsy Rose to me does not have the ability to love, in my opinion, of course. Thanks, Lawrence. I think I will tell you this now. I don't know if I can't recall, you guys, if we talked about this in part 1 or 2 about maybe the family history. Dee Dee's. I think Dee Dee's mother was kind of a psychopath as well. I'll say that lightly because I don't recall. But I think this woman, after her mother put her through this abuse in the beginning, I think that I think she's very smart,
I
very
do. I do
manipulative.
too.
I think she planned this throughout her lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was something that led up to the offing of her mom, and I think she was smart enough to weigh the circumstances. I think she knew that she would probably go to prison. She admitted to the murder, got to 10 years. But I
Yeah.
think as a young kid, she's what, 30s now? I think she saw the light at the end of the rainbow. And I think that she was obsessed with not love, fortune and fame. I think it was a
Yeah.
sickness in her head. Now, whether that was manipulated paranormally, like we discussed last night, I'm sure Josh will elaborate on. I just don't think she has the ability to love. She married, the early boyfriend commits the murder. Yet, who marries a guy on Facebook? Who gets married when they're in jail? And what type of guy is that as well?
Right.
There's no love associated with that. It's all about fortune and fame. And I think she's on the path to having a pretty nice income.
Yeah.
Anybody else
Oh,
go
yeah.
next? Yeah.
Yeah. I guarantee you she's making a good income.
Mhm.
Well, I think Natalie was right when she said fantasy. I think that she had all these fantasies as growing up and all these things because she couldn't do anything. Her mother had such control on her, but she had all these fantasies. And now that her mother is gone and all of this, and she's done with prison, I think she's going to start living these fantasies out. And I think what we're seeing now is just the tip of the iceberg compared to what we're going to see later from her.
I agree on that.
Yeah,
It
she's
is the
just
tip of the
starting out.
iceberg.
She's going to continue, and this is just going to keep building on top of itself. She's not done.
You think another murder is going to contrive or be conspired after this with this
Absolutely.
association? You do. Wow.
I think her husband's next.
Oh, I agree. I was just going to say the same thing. Her husband's next because he's going to get in the way.
Yes.
Her first husband, after she got out of prison, she had already wrote chilling emails about how Ryan reminded her of her mother.
Mm.
Wow.
Oh, see.
Her new,
Really?
I think their fiance, because she got with him and got pregnant when she was still married with her first husband out of jail, Ken, the one that she has a child with. She met him in prison too, but they had broken up. And she had wrote horrible things that are out now about him. And so one day, the daughter's going to grow up and go online and see all the things that her mom wrote about her father.
Yeah. And which leads me to talk about the people who contacted her and married her while she was in prison. They can't all be there either up there.
No.
You know what I'm saying? What normal, sane person does that? It's not like it was somebody you knew and loved and then they go to prison. It's nothing like that. They didn't even know this woman. I think they loved the idea of her, maybe, of the fame and
they had a problem with wanting to save her. I can save her. I can fix her. We're all that way to an extent. We all want to help somebody. And I think that with a lot of people who get married in prison without ever meeting, they have that, I can fix him. I can fix her. I can help them,
It's kind of this knight in shining armor syndrome, where they come in and think that they can fix and they can't. But with them being in prison, like you're saying, they've never met. That's also for me is like, yes, they can fix them, but they're also looking at what are they getting out of it. There's the money, the fame for them as well.
Yeah. I just wonder what kind of psychological issues that these men have.
Well, you can check him out. He's going live on Perez Hilton, so he's loving the fame.
Who is this now going live?
Her ex-husband.
Oh,
he's been going live commenting on all this FOIA videos, and so I think she kind of targeted him because she wanted to go back to Louisiana because she had that draw to there. I mentioned about New Orleans, and she wanted to parole there, so she found him after Ken had broken up with her. And so he's been going live on Perez Hilton. He's kind of a heavy set guy. He looks like it might be his first girlfriend. I don't know. I haven't really looked into him that much. I think he was a special ed teacher. So like maybe he thought, kind of looked at her as like one of his, things he could fix, like you were saying. But yeah, he's loving fame.
Or was he looking for fortune and fame?
If he's going on talk shows and stuff, he is. That's
I meant from marrying her in the first place. I
think so.
He said he read her story and his, it tugged on his heartstrings and he felt sorry for her and reached out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
All right, Wolf,
That's
let's
not
hear
the
your
whole story.
Yes, I was going to throw to Wolf's corner here. Hey, you think, well, you know what the question was earlier, Wolf.
Yeah, I've talked about this on my show at length. I've made some people angry that don't believe the way I believe. There are people that are born beyond redemption. I say that, and everybody loses their mind, and that's because they don't understand. And for me to explain this, you see me? I'm taking a breath. Okay, so it's like a star fell from the sky, right? And everybody gets a piece of it and says, "I found the truth. This is the way. This is the truth." And you have a part of the truth, but you don't have the whole truth, and you do not have the answers. You have something akin to the answers, but it's not complete. Mm-hmm. And in order for that to happen, we all have to work together. That's really hard because nobody wants to compromise. Because every religion, and I'm going to tie it all together. Every religion tells everybody not to pay attention or read or learn about anybody else's religion, because then that's, like the Muslims, they call it haram, and then it becomes, if you're Jewish, then those people are sheikhs. They're unclean. And if you're a Christian, they're a heretic. They're an apostate. Every religion has their own name for it. Something that you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to deal with the pagans, and every other religion calls every other religion a pagan. Well, what this has to do with anything is that reincarnation is I think you have to understand how it works. Otherwise, because I didn't come to the belief of reincarnation till I was in my mid to late 20s. Mm-hmm. And everything was screaming at me that there it was, but I was refusing to believe it because I had a very strict belief that, hey, and even though I knew I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing as a true follower of Christ, I was cognizant of that. I did not accept that there were other teachings, even though I had been reading about them for a long time and they fascinated me. I was very careful in not letting. I would read a book about Buddhism the same way I would read, like what we were talking about last night about the Lesser Key of Solomon, or the Key of Solomon, which is a huge, the Lesser Key of Solomon is actually a part of the Key of Solomon.
And you have to be in the right mindset, like you said, to read.
You had to be in the right mindset. Yeah. And so it's a huge book. And so I read all these, I read the Kabbalah, I read all these different texts. That's why I know what they say. People will argue with me and I'm like, have you read it? And more often than not, they're like, no, they just heard some goofball up there saying that, something bad about it. So they take that at face value. So then a preacher will tell them, or a cleric or whatever, will tell them that there is nothing in the afterlife but this and this. They are completely wrong. They are 100% wrong. They're not wrong in the way that they're lying. They're not lying because they believe what they're saying a lot of times. Mm-hmm. So it's not a lie, but it is not correct. That's the problem. And you carry into your next life the weight of the past. And that is the truth. I don't care what anybody says. I won't change my view no matter what you say, because I know that to be the truth. Mm-hmm. And I've had so many people come after me about it, and they've waged war on me, just waged absolute war on me. And it's exhausting, mostly for them, because I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But I'm going to tell you this. The reason this is important is because I believe that there are people who are born to just be a problem. I call them NPCs, non-playable characters. There's another, you could use that acronym. You could say non-participant characters. They really don't participate in life. My example is, say someone gets hit by a car in a corner, right? And everybody's gathered around and they're looking at, they're like, oh my gosh, somebody got hit. Oh my, this poor, look at this person's, whatever. They're there in the group. You can look around, you can kind of see the facial expression, and there's always going to be one or two people going, like, they have nothing.
Nothing there.
I've seen it happen. They literally do not care. They don't understand why everybody's making a big fuss about this person's pain. They really do not understand why it's a big deal that someone is dead. They don't calculate the misery and the suffering that not only the person that hit them probably feels, especially the person that got hit, but also that person's family and the friends and everybody that has to go through the hell of that person being gone now. That's like they can't do the math in their head, nor do they care. And people are just like objects. They are to be manipulated and used. They're no different than animals. They're just like, you take this hat right here. This is a hat. You, Rob, are the same as that hat. You're just an object, but yet that hat doesn't move and cause them problems. You do. You're just talky. That's how these people see the world. They view the world like that through that lens. And in a heartbeat, they would push you in front of a bus or a train. They are dangerous people to be around. And I promise you, every family has one of these people. Not every family unit, but every family has one of these psychopaths. And I promise you, there are enablers around them.
Let me ask you really quickly, how these people get to that point, Josh?
They're born this way. And I argue with my Aunt Linda. I love her to death. I love her. She's a clinical psychologist. She started a little book club, and I joined, and I said, this is going to be fun. Anthony, you know how Aunt Linda is. And she said, well, everyone is, what does she say? She says, everyone it's tempered by their environment. What is it she says? What does she say, Anthony?
It's nurture over nature.
Yeah, everybody is tempered by their environment, right? And I said, Aunt Linda, no. A lot of these people are born genetically. They are that way. Why is the DNA important? This goes back to what we were talking about with the Nephilim. The reason that DNA is important is because there is an entire bloodline of these people. It is a bloodline, and certain groups of people are predisposed to have more of those people in there, genetically in there. And then if you say that, though, it borders on you're attacking people's race, religion, whatever. So you don't really, I'm not going to get into a whole thing, but it's true. There are certain groups of people who are more predisposed to this, and they do tend to follow certain belief systems. And they don't care about you. I promise you. And they run everything, and they don't care. Why did they get in the position to run everything? Because they're willing to do the things that you're not. They're willing to treat everybody as cattle when we, the average person, are not willing to do that. There is no empathy, and you will see them actually teaching others of their own ilk to be this way. So I believe when you were born, now somebody told me once, they said, well, and I've heard this a few times, they're like, well, I don't believe that because, what if you're just born one of those people? I said, you think that's an accident that they were born in that religion and in that particular creed? I don't think so. I think they're born in that because that's what they are. Because you got to remember, the Scotch Irish, they had this thing where the Fae are very important to them, right? And every family is born with a certain sort of Fae heritage. Does it make sense? You know what I'm saying? The Arabs do the same thing with the jinn. There's like these jinn that'll follow you throughout life, good, bad, whatever. Whether that's true or not, it's what these people believe. I'm not saying I believe it, but I do believe that these people are born like your great-grandfather could be you. And if you take that out of the equation, that there is no reincarnation, then you're missing a very big part of the puzzle. And then all of a sudden, you're going like, "Whoa, I don't understand. Why did God make this happen this way? Why is this person this way? God just did all this." No, dude, because you let people take certain things that should be in your Bible. I say your Bible because it's not my Bible, because your Bible's like that big, mine's like that. So I don't have those books missing. I went and I found them. And so you have Jesus saying, you must be born again. You must be born again. And in some of the apocryphals, he's talking literal. And people are like, no, because we've cut the Bible down to where the really, really, really important stuff is just kind of put to the back burner. There are certain verses of the Bible that people don't like. I think Samuel 13, is it 13:5 or something? It's a very uncomfortable verse where, God's like, kill everything, destroy everything, blah, 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 blah. Nobody wants to hear that. Well, that's because I personally don't believe that's really God. I believe that's the priesthood. And I believe that they wrote that way later to justify what they did, which was a genocidal killing of the people in that area. And then they took it over and said, this is ours because God gave it to us. And then people do it all the time. Mm-hmm. And then Islam comes along and then they recopy it, but they leave out very important things. There is no room for having lived before. That way they can stone you to death, kill you, punish you, whatever. And then there is no whatever, but you will come back. There is a religion in Lebanon called the Druze. Druze. Look it up. It is a weird thing. These children, they will die. And when they come back, they can point out the killer. Somebody kills somebody, they will go. I know a person from that village. His name is Mikhail Hamoudi. I used to work with this guy. That's his real name. And he told me, he says, my cousin was murdered. When he was 6 years old, he pointed out the murderer. And we found the body of my cousin where it was buried. This man admitted he did it. A child knew that. Now, the Muslims freak out. They're like, this is haram. Brother, this is a jinn, the demon talk, the child, this crap, blah, 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 whatever the hell they talk. But that is their interpretation of it. That's their wacky bullcrap, right? Mm-hmm. But the truth is, that child knew who killed him. I don't think it was the devil talking to that child. And I'm telling you, if you look this up, there are books about this. One of them is called Old Souls. I read that, but I've read a bunch of them. There's a whole bunch of case studies about this. And people, they choose to just go, la, 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 and they ignore it, and they don't understand why these people are born. I can spot these people a mile away. I used to work with a guy. Get this. I used to work at a chemical plant, and there was a guy from Nicaragua. He was the biggest turd, right? And he had these two brothers, and they babied him. And they're, hermanos, man. And they were the greatest guys, those two guys. And I said, you guys are awesome. Your brother is an evil piece of shit. No. My brother, mi hermano, mi corazón, I said, yeah, whatever. All of that bullshit is going to get you messed up, man, because that guy doesn't care about you, and he doesn't care about people around him. And he ended up spraying two of us with Matex, and then I got burned with nitric acid, all because of this pendejo that we worked with. All right, I'm not going to say anything, whatever. But eventually, he went to a nightclub, started some mess, and his brother got shot in the face. His brother lived. Oh, now he's deformed for the rest of his life. Right? Yeah. And his brother and me got into an actual fist fight because I kicked him out of my bar. I used to run a bar just like you, Boomer. I call you Boomer. Okay?
Yeah, he calls me Boomer.
Boomer. The point is, what this has to do with the price of rice in China is that Gypsy Rose was born, in my opinion, one of those people. And she was born to a mother. And here's the weird thing. Just like the Irish and the Scottish say, you just keep being born in the same family. They believe that. Before Christianity forced down their throats that no, you can't do this. This isn't correct. Even though the original Catholic Bible says it, but then they changed it. Mm-hmm. This is what they believe. They believe you could be your own grandfather, your own grandmother. You come back, and they spoke Gaelic. I speak some Gaelic from Dunham Dale. Anybody who speaks Gaelic, I don't know if you know that, top of the morning to you. That's the thing.
Yeah, right.
That has been forced out of them by the English. The English said, no, British policies make the world England. You can't have your fairies and your weird, wacky beliefs of being born again from what, whatever. And the whole world became the British Empire. And what was it? It was one person's goal because he wanted to not have to divorce. So the whole world became the Anglican Church, which is a church built on sin. I'm telling you. And the Catholic Church, they're like, that church was built on sin. So were yours. So was yours.
You know, let me ask you something on this, because let's say that for a moment that we remove from the person born into this. Let's remove all the religion. Let's remove all of the everything. And they commit these atrocities. If they remove that and their family is brought up with not a belief system whatsoever, and there are many out there, don't care about God, don't care about this, that, or the other of the religions. Where do you think that comes from? Is this something else? Is that actually some vessel that can infiltrate them regardless of their beliefs?
Well, I mean, I can tell you this. If you are born, you know, and you that is removed from you. You were removed from being able to find God because you say you made a choice in a past life. Because some of these sorcerers, these witchcraft, these whatever we want to call them, you know what they do? They make a conscious decision from their soul, because those people will actually look at the world through their soul eyes, not like we do. We look at everything through the physical lens. They look at things through a spiritual lens, and they're playing a long game. And they will reject God, Christ, and the Holy Spirit and completely blaspheme. Then when they come back, right? Because remember, Jesus says the God of this world is Satan, right? So Satan, the God of this world, brings them back. This is his world. Here's a weird thing. This is why it's important to learn about other cultures. The Yazidi. Does anybody know who the Yazidi are?
No.
Yazidi follow a god. They call him the peacock. This is interesting because the networks, they're all run by satanic power, the NBC, CBS, whatever. And I can tell you who runs them, the names, everything. But NBC is the peacock, right? That's the peacock. That god is Lucifer. And the Kurdish people, that is where the Yazidi come from. Now, not all the Kurds believe like they do. A lot of them are just straight up Sunni Muslim. And they're like, look, we don't have nothing to do with these people. What people don't understand about the peacock god is that according to their belief, God forgave him. That according to them, the true God, the God that controls the greater universe, forgave Lucifer for his falling. Because, and they don't really go into a lot of detail, but they say it wasn't really his fault, which is weird. Kind of speaks to the whole maybe he was trapped in the abyss thing we talked about yesterday. So, and I'll tell you what this has to do with it, right? So what happens is they follow this God because according to them, he is the sovereign of this world because the one true living God gave him this world. Now, how he got this world doesn't really matter to them. It's just the fact that he is the God of this world, right? And so because of that, they pay homage to him. And there are a lot of people who don't like them in the Middle East, and they've tried to genocide these people because of that belief. But these people have died on that hill, literally and figuratively, because they believe that God wouldn't make the greater God, the God that followed, the Father of Christ, he wouldn't make a mistake. But Jesus does say, he makes a distinction. He clearly states it. He says in Revelations 2:9, you follow those who claim they're Jews and they are not. He says you follow those who claim they're the house of David and they're not. And he that's an indictment on them. He says it right before they killed him. He says, look, he says, your father is not my father. He said, my father is the one true living God. Your father is the Shaitan, and you're of the synagogue of the Shaitan. It's an indictment on those people. And then they said, you know what, we've had enough of this. And then when he raised Lazarus from the dead, that was a sneak preview of what he was going to do. And they were like, okay, enough of this. And they had him killed. They murdered him. But then he comes back and he says, ta-da, because my father circumvents your father. Your father runs this world. And he took me up on a hill and he offered me all the kingdoms of the earth and it didn't work. And then y'all killed me. But now I'm still here because this is a matrix. And you don't really die the way that people think you die. And there's another trick that people don't get. You come back. You keep coming back, you know? And that's the thing that people don't understand. Now, not everybody. Once you figure out enlightenment, which is something that multiple religions believe in, right? And every religion has Christ. Every religion except for one has Christ of the major religions. The Muslims believe in Christ. The Muslims believe that Christ, he will return, right? And that's something I've argued with them. I said, well, why would he come back? Why wouldn't it be Muhammad? Wouldn't your boy come back? It's now, it's Jesus. Okay. Why? But he's a great prophet. He's a great prophet, but he's not the son of God, right? But then for whatever reason, they say he comes back, right? But then there's another religion that does it too, and that's Hindu. And before people say, well, Hindu's a polytheistic religion, no, it is a monotheistic religion wrapped in polytheism, because Brahma is one god, but every god and goddess is an aspect of him, right? And they believe in reincarnation. Brahma's son has to come and set things right. And guess what his name is? Krishna. Very similar to Christ. So Krishna Kalik, he comes back and he has to fight and do things, make things right. And then the Buddha, they call him the Maitreya, the final, the last. Most people know about Gautama, the big belly and all of that. But that's the Maitreya. He is the one lasting final Buddha. And then there are stories of him having traveled all the way to Japan. Because, you know, for 18 years he was gone in the Bible. Where was he? Because in the little bit of the Bible that we have left that they have given us to look at and go around in circles with, Jesus is there, but he's gone for years and years. You know, where was he? I don't believe that he just hung around the Levant. I think he went all over the place. And I think that he studied and learned what other people were teaching. But he said, look, okay, this is the way you believe. Here is the rest of the story. And he gave everybody the truth. Now it's up to you to follow that. But the thing is, we are missing a very, very valuable piece of the puzzle if you stop and you look at these people who are born beyond redemption, i.e. Gypsy Rose. It's possible. Maybe her mother too. We don't know for sure. But when you look at these people from that lens, then you start to go, wait a minute. One of the questions that Jeffrey Dahmer, when he did what he did, and he was in prison in Wisconsin, right? There was no death penalty there, so it didn't matter to him. He was going to be there for life with a bunch of guys. He doesn't care. Yeah. Jeffrey Dahmer's like, I did it. Yeah, I'm here with all these men. What does he care? That's like heaven to him. He's a bunch of dudes.
Really briefly, I want to say we are starring some questions for a little later in the show. I noticed a few questions we started to star. And Josh, I don't want to cut you off because you're awesome. I want to get Mary Lynn in this involved a little bit with this too.
I'm going to finish this and I'll wrap it up.
Finish that. Yeah,
I got to finish.
Got you.
What happens with Dahmer? You know what he said? One of the things he said that he asked the chaplain over and over again, is God going to forgive me because I don't feel it. I can't feel it.
Right.
And then finally he said he felt it. And that's why he let the guy that killed him, called himself Christ, right? The crazy guy. He said, put a T at the end of my name. Call me Christ. My name is Chris, but I want to be called Christ. And they asked the guy, they said, what did he say? He says, I deserve this. Kill me. And on video, there's a video. It's brutal, but he's beating him to death, and Dahmer doesn't even fight back. And Dahmer's like twice his size.
Wow.
Dahmer lets himself be killed because Dahmer was trying to be human. He was trying to feel something. Right? He was okay with living the rest of his life in prison, but then when he gave his life to Christ, everything was a temptation. So he wanted to be done with it. See, right. So this is a person to me that is beyond redemption. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. But he's trying to reconnect with something. Something happened to him in the past, way back, that made him what he was. And then it was reaffirmed when he was a child. It always happens when they're children. Why does it happen to him and not me? Why does it happen to him and not you, Rob? Think about that. That's my point. And so something happened to Gypsy Rose. There's a reason why she was born to that particular mother. There was a reason why she was the way she was. And there's a reason why Gypsy was the way she was. And now she's doing what she's doing because she has no empathy.
Right.
And it goes back to the past. You're born the way you are. You're born in a certain situation because you have to overcome it, and she didn't, and she won't, and she's not going to. That's my point. That's all I had to say.
No, you're great. No, I appreciate that. Every time you come on, I learn a different. I learn from Josh Turner. What can I say? Mary, I want to bring you up on this a little bit. Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. What's your overall take? You can go wherever you want with this. Speak about Josh or your own personal influences or opinions.
Well, I kind of follow on Josh with this. It's something that she has born into it, and she's not going to change because she doesn't know how to change. There's nothing there for her to change into. She doesn't have that ability because it's just not in her brain. There's something that is off that, again, I think it's genetically in that line of her family that it just goes on and on and on. And it's a taught behavior, and she knows no different. And it's something that no matter how many people are going to try to go in and work with her, nothing is going to help.
I had a terrible, scary thought while Josh was talking about reincarnation. What if Dee Dee is reborn again in Aurora?
That's what I
That
said.
was my thought as well.
That is scary.
The whole ritual thing, that there's religions that believe that. The East, there's a religion that we've talked about on our show, and I'm not going to co-opt it, I promise you. But Anthony, we've talked about it. They eat people.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are gory. Now, here's a weird thing. That is actually the name of the second goetic demon. That's weird.
Aurora?
No, Agori.
Oh, Agori.
So yeah, so it's really weird when you start going back and looking at this. I don't know. It's a weird thing, dude. I think that there is something to that, and I think that she definitely was planning to be able to be impregnated at the same time of her mother's death. And I said this yesterday, that she might want her mother to be her daughter, because now the roles are flipped and she has control.
And she has control.
That is something that people that believe in reincarnation have talked about before, that you have to break that cycle of abuse. The dad will be the abuser. He'll abuse you physically, whatever. But then the grandson is born, and then you skip that generation, and the grandson is, and then you're like, oh, you dote on that child because that they don't unwittingly, that's your dad. That's a weird thing. I've heard people talk about this before. I mean, it's
well, and that's where I think too is like Brandy is saying that she came back as the granddaughter, and it's like it's very possible on that, but she's trying to control that. But the thing is, Gypsy doesn't know how to change, so she's just still following that pattern. So she's just going to keep going, and it's already ingrained in her daughter as to what's happened in the past. So she's just going to pick up where it was left off. So this is just going to keep going on and on.
Yeah,
I would agree.
100%. It will keep going until somebody breaks the cycle.
Yep. And again, like what I stated on the first show, is like the accountability. It's like if somebody is going to have to figure it out for themselves and be able to become accountable for what they are doing and make those changes.
Yeah.
The other scary thought is another thing that Josh had said about keep being reborn into this world until you reach your enlightenment or till you learn your lesson. Well, we know that she's not reached it in this lifetime. So, we're going to expect somebody to be her and repeat this cycle and keep repeating it until she reaches enlightenment.
Yep. She's got many lifetimes ahead of her.
I know that. I mean, I feel sorry for our world because you just don't know when and where and who it is. It's a sad thing.
See, I think that's why the world is getting the way it is now, because we keep getting those recycled over and over again, and they're just adding different traumas and different things to people who keep, who are being born and who are coming in. They don't know how to break the cycles.
Real quick here, Nellie just commented. She said, I heard Gypsy Rose doesn't have custody of her daughter. And you know what? That's a good thing. But I wonder who has custody of her daughter,
Rain?
Yeah, Rain.
That'd be Rain.
I did look it up. Yeah. I can see if I can look it
I
up.
Googled it, and it says she does have custody.
From my knowledge, she does. And the guy she had the baby with, Ken Urker, I think.
Mhm.
So if she didn't have custody, he would have custody of their daughter.
Mhm.
But
he's
from
got
what it
the
seems
same,
like, they're together.
yeah, same issues that she's got pretty much. And, so it's just going to acerbate with the daughter. And, it really doesn't matter to me who has custody of the daughter. It could be somebody in a foster parent. She still has those genes. She still has that DNA. It's still in her.
In the story, even if, DNA or not, that story is going to follow that girl for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
Good
Anywhere she goes.
reminder. Yes.
Yes,
And
Yeah.
now
that's
with the internet, everybody can follow her. Everybody
it's-
Yeah.
can take
just
a
like
picture of her, see where
just-
she's doing.
yes, this is forever encapsulated till the end of time with the internet, long after we're gone. Hey, I want to ask Josh really quick. He's a good friend of mine, Christina Gomez. She gave me a couple super chats already. Thanks, Christina. I want to get this out of the way. She had a question for Josh, and I like to take care of her because she's pretty cool. Thank you, Christina. Josh? What's your insight, opinion, on reincarnation into lives on other worlds, aliens, civilizations? And Christina does a great job on her channel. UFO reporter. She's everything. She's a
She's got a
journalist.
great channel,
Her
honestly.
channel is fantastic. I go to Christina for UFO information, and of course, my buddy Coley, SNX Radio, as well. I met Christina about 5 years ago. If you could answer that for Josh.
Sounds like a good channel. I'm really into ufology too.
Yeah, check her out.
I actually was at the UFO conference a couple years ago with Ken Garrett, the cryptozoologist. Everybody knows Ken. We were there hanging out, and I actually got to speak to a lot of UFO people that knew who I was, and I was shocked by that.
Oh my God, I was shocked too. Probably, I thought I was there.
I was like, dude, you guys know who I am? And they're like, yeah, you're that weirdo with the weird ideas.
Yeah,
They looked at me like an anomaly. They had
the guy with the thick chains.
So I actually got interviewed for a school newspaper. I was like, you see, I'm somebody. It's right there.
You made it.
High school in San Antonio. They know who I am.
I made it.
I'm somebody, No, but Christina, seriously, no. I do believe that it functions all together because there are people who are here right now walking amongst us who are not fully human. And then there are these people. I got to start with this. There are people that I call them. Me and Anthony and Tony call them Matrix babies. I'm not joking. Have you ever needed to go somewhere? You're like, I got to get to Target. I told my wife I'd pick this up, and this guy just goes, I'm just going to pull a slow. Maybe how much signal I need to maybe kill you. I'm like, oh my God. And then it's Matrix babies. They make your nightmares come true. This is what they do. This is what they do. And you look at you drive next to the guy. Maybe you just want to look over, get some energy back from him, and they're like Mr. Magoo. They don't care. They don't give a crap if you're there. They don't even if your car was on fire, they wouldn't even notice. They would just keep driving, and probably hit a culvert, and then they would evaporate. And and you're like, thank you, Matrix. That's what you did to me today. You made me late to Target. Now, I probably shouldn't have been hanging out with my friends that long, but that's beside the point. It was Mr. Magoo.
I call that road rage.
Well, it's road rage created by these the Matrix babies. I blame them. But I'm telling you, personal responsibility being what it is, Marilyn. It's our own fault. But you want to be angry at somebody, right? You want to blame something
Right.
or an object, whatever. But I do believe these people walk around with their head up their rear end, and they don't care. They don't, and sadly, they're allowed
They're
to
in
vote.
their own little world.
Yeah, absolutely. I was doing the patrol the other night, and one of them stepped out off a curb, looking at his phone, and I was like, "Whoa!" And I had to move out of the way. I've seen these people do some things that just defy logic because they don't care. Yeah, they have walked around with half of a brain. They don't care. They literally just have the brainstem, maybe a little bit of the amygdala or whatever. They don't. These people, I'm telling you, they are born to be a stumbling block. That's what they are. They are agents of the Kali Yuga, and there is nothing you can do with these people. By the same token, there are highly intelligent and very observant and very functioning people, and there are different types of people. I have looked at people. and seen eyes slit up, and you're going like, oh, what is that? And you see it. Like there was a lady at the grocery store, and she was standing right next to me, and I remember this was years ago, and she was writing a check, and she kind of went like, oh, like she backed up, and I was looking at my phone. I was like, what did she just see? So I just kind of ignored it. She was standing she was at the little where you get the keys made or whatever. And as I was walking out, I was just curious. I said, man, what was it that she turned around? She looked at me. She was a black lady. And she looked at me. She goes, that woman's eyes changed. And I was like how? And she looked back, and the lady who was doing that, she was looking over at us. And she goes, I just walked off. I said, okay, thank you. I wanted to know. I was very curious. I didn't see it because I was looking at my phone being in NPC. But I was looking at it, and I was like, I wonder what she saw. Right. Mm-hmm. But I've seen this before. And I had an altercation with a guy, and I've talked about this story on my show. And when I pushed him out the door, his back felt really weird. Like there was this, right below where the shoulder blades should have been, there were like these plates, and there was a ridge on his back. Mm-hmm. And my bouncers felt it too. And it was really crazy. He wasn't a very big guy. He's about Anthony's size, because you're almost 200 pounds, right? What are you, 180? So he's about 180 pounds, big. He's muscular, but he was fighting a guy that was like 6'5". This guy's an ex-con, and he was a very tough dude. And he was giving him the business, and I was really shocked at the way this guy was doing. This isn't one of those little guys that usually doesn't work in real life, right? But this dude was nuts. His girlfriend, long story short, told me and my brother that during coitus, his eyes would change, and if it was during that or if he was angry, he would look reptoid. He would become a reptilian. And so when you stop and you hear this, now a few of my bouncers outside said that his eyes slitted up when he was angry. Chico, one of my guys, is a luchador in Mexico. He's actually on television. He used to be a wrestler, big guy, 6'5", 6'6", whatever. He said, dude, the guy's eyes look like a snake. I didn't personally see his eyes change, but the other people around me did. And they told me as much. And so the girl that he was with, she was from Australia, and she was terrified of this man. And then I went to their apartment, and her roommate showed me where he had yanked the door off the hinges with one arm and just torn it. Like he had just torn it out of the wall. And I was like, you sure he wasn't like, they were like, no, it was just one arm. He was just a very strong, powerful guy. So what is that guy's soul? What is his soul? Like, obviously he's a hybrid of some kind. Now I knew this from my own ability. He could speak several languages. Like if I said was ist los in German, like he could respond, If I said Kifa Habibi, whatever, he understood Arabic. I was like, damn, dude, how many languages does this guy speak? That's not a normal thing. Right? He spoke French. He spoke Spanish. He spoke English. He spoke Arabic. He spoke German. It was bizarre. So
what made you start speaking the different?
What is his soul?
Josh, what made you start speaking the different languages to him to find that out?
Because I'm one too. I'm a shape-shifting weird werewolf. According to
yes, indeed.
Just being honest.
No, a guy really told me. He messaged my mortgage broker, my real estate agent, and my business partner and says he's a werewolf. Don't be alone with him. And Kristen knows this guy. Kristen Brain knows exactly who I'm talking about. He really did that. He really did that. And I was like, yeah, okay. And I told my business partner, it's been 20 years together. He's a boomer. I love him. But I said, have I wolfed out in front of you? I've been angry, but I've never wolfed out. I have control of it. But no, seriously though, like I started learning languages because you have to be able to the texts. There is a lot of books that you can't get here in the States because there is censorship out the yin-yang and you don't even realize it. Like I even tell people use this other web browser. What's it called? Yandex. Because it's a Russian web browser and you can get more information than you can with the old goggle. So I tell people that. And I said, if you want to learn these books, a lot of this esoteric knowledge is hidden in these books. It's written in French because a lot of these books come from the Middle Ages. And then there is different types of Greek and Arabic and Hebrew that you need to be able to understand and read and to be able to decipher the text. And French, reading and writing in another language is easier than actually speaking it, but then you'll learn to speak it. And I worked with Arabs for years, so I speak some Arabic, you know. That's why I said Kefata Habibi, that's a greeting, you know, and I worked with some Irish guys, and I learned some Gaelic. And I just picked up, I was very linguistically inclined. So I picked up a lot of different language, and I learned to have to read what I needed from these texts to understand it. Right. Because if you're reading, like I've read the Quran in English, and I've argued with Muslims incessantly. They're like, the Quran has never changed, never changed. I said, every time it's translated to another language, it changes because the meanings are completely lost if it's not written if it's not read in Arabic. If you read the Kabbalah or any of their books, the Talmud, or if you read the Tanakh, which is the oral Jewish tradition, whatever, or if you read the Quran, in Arab, anything other than Arabic, it's lost. It's completely lost. And all of those books are written kind of in a sing-song way, because the word, this is weird, and folks need to hear this. The word key actually corresponds to not a key that turns and unlocks whatever. It's actually the key. It's from sound. It's from vibration. And the sound and vibration are actually what is used to unlock a lot of these spells and things like that. You have to be very careful with the vibrations. One of the stories, I don't know if I'm going to get into it tomorrow, but there was a guy from Sweden, and it's a pretty interesting guy. He had an out-of-body experience while he was on drugs, but not nothing hard, but he was on drugs, and he was listening to this black metal band. And I know that band he's talking about. I don't want to say the name of it. My brother listens to it, or used to. And I told him, I said, everything they do and say is a spell. They're spell casting through the vibration and the sound and the keys that they hit. And if you look at the keys of sound, they go up and down, these little waves, right? Now take a look at your house key. Let me see if I have one here. Take a look at your key here. Here's a key. Here's Spider-Man, right? Here's a key. You see how it goes up and down? That's why it's called a key. It unlocks things. The original key, the first keys were sound and vibration. And the key that we use to unlock everything is just a physical manifestation of that. That's the thing that people don't understand. Like, all of this is based, it is grounded in the spirit. Everything that these people have done and that they do is based in this in the spirit. And so everybody is so confused by that. One of the things I know about anything that's alien, and I mean, by alien, anybody that's not originally from here spiritually is an alien. They don't necessarily have to have a body like we do. They can abduct you in different ways. They can abduct you for your DNA, to take certain things, but then they can also take you in a spirit form. That's why people say, well, I went through the wall when they were abducted. You were abducted by those aliens, but they went through the wall with you because they're out of their body too. The tall grays are the original form. The small gray, right, is the biological robot mercenary that was bioengineered by them to go and do their work. And they are literally just a vessel. People have reported them as being like no personality, no whatever. They're just an NPC. You have to have a soul to have the animation of a body. But that soul doesn't have to really do anything. It just has to be like the electricity that turns it on. Right. Having a soul is just, it's inherent in having a body that moves around. But it's the spirit. Two different things. People don't understand that. The spirit of that soul. Like that is actually what is important. Because a lot of souls are just empty vessels themselves that are used like batteries. You put them in a flashlight and the flashlight comes on, right? The lights come on. But that's the spirit that actually powers that. There is no spiritual connection there. That's why I believe that the grays, the small grays that everybody sees, these biological robots, they don't have a real high, they have a high intellect, but a real low vibrational, essence. And so that, to me, there are people walking around on this earth with alien souls. Like in a past life, you may have been from the Pleiades. And when I say Pleiades, there is overwhelmingly one particular group that's, and then people say, well, I'm from Arcturus. I've heard people tell me that. And there's a certain species that everybody always refers to from there, and then there's another one that everybody refers to, when you're talking about all the wherever you're from, Andromeda, right? There's these species that everybody considers to be the main intergalactic, but the drakes, they are a very, very evil, but very efficient and very powerful spiritual. And that is why they have such dominion. And I think that they are of the bloodline of the Shaitan. I think that's who they were when they fell, was the Dracos. I think that's who they were. And that's my opinion. And I think the Anunnaki came from the 200 Watchers. That's my opinion. People will argue with me all day. And there's an intergalactic federation.
Josh, nobody argues with you, man.
People argue with me all the time. I mean, online, they're always arguing with me. They have whole Reddit threads.
Everybody loves you.
Yeah. They don't like it. But the problem, I tell people, if you have a problem, go read a book.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Instead of watching whatever, the Kardashians, and maybe you learn something. I don't know nothing about pop culture. I always went in Trivial Pursuit. Then when it comes to the pop culture, I'll tell you something funny. I once thought that Jessica Simpson, Christina Aguilera, and Britney Spears, I thought they were all the same person. No, I was really dumb about it. And I was working out with my friend Arash, everybody, his werewolf story is in my book. His dad is Persian, like he's half Persian or whatever. He's very linguistic too. He owns 3 bars, bar and grills, very successful, good food, good turkey legs, go to Spinners, great place. And he called me a dumbass. The only time he can call me that, because I'm over there lifting, and my friend Squid is like, he's like, man, she's hot. And I'm thinking this is Britney Spears, and I'm going like, I thought they were all Britney. I said, she looks different. Every time I see this woman, she looks different. Is that plastic surgery? Him and Arash are looking at each other. Arash is like, he's like, dude, who do you think that is? I said, that's Britney, right? And he goes, it's Jessica Simpson, dude. And I'm like, who the hell is Jessica Simpson? I don't know who this is. And he said they were all in a club together. Like it was him, her, and Christina, and another woman. And then I knew Shakira. I knew she looked a little different. Lebanese and something else. And so she was Colombian and Lebanese, right? And so I was like, oh, okay. And I tried to play it off. I was like, well, she just looked different. And they're like, you don't know who the hell that is, do you? I said, no, I don't know who that is. But who would you rather talk to? The guy that could speak several languages, or the person that knows who that is? Right? That's not an important thing, right? I mean, but people put a premium on dumb shit like that,
right?
I don't pay attention to the mind garbage.
Well, in all fairness, all of the ones that you're talking about, pretty much, they were perceived as the same type of personality as they were growing up. They were sweet, innocent, and all of that. I mean, there was no difference in their personalities. They played all the same type of roles. They were, exactly. It was all the same thing.
Yeah. And their brain is a life support system for their booty. That's it. That's all it is.
There you go. I
mean, who cares, And everybody's like, oh, you're dumb. You don't know that. Oh, yeah, I'm dumb, right? I'm dumb. I could have graduated high school when I was 14, but I didn't because my dad wanted me to play sports. But that's beside the point. I was like, dude, I was doing algebra in 5th grade. You're going to tell me I'm dumb. I'm the person that doesn't know who that is. I mean, whatever. Not important to me.
That's funny.
True.
There's a bunch of questions, Rob.
Well, we had some of these questions. Yes, that's great. It's a great show. First of all, everybody, this is the last of the series. Now, this show, Gypsy Rose, we've kind of combined a whole bunch of everything, which is how we always do. That's what we do. Part 1 was on the Blondes and Booze on Thursday. Check that out. Check out part 2 on Paranormal Roundtable. And this, of course, is the finale. And you guys, again, is a paranormal cryptid show. All of us are. So we bring up these elements that nobody else will tackle. We're not true crime, right? So all these things you have to take into consideration when you tackle all of these nefarious activities that humans perform on other people, right? What's involved? We talked vampires, and I love the vampire topic last night, but Before we get any of that, yes, Krista, why don't you pull up the questions because I know there's a full
Okay.
amount of them.
Yeah, there's a few here. And if anybody has any more questions, put it in all caps, and it can be any question from any of the 3 shows that we've done. We'll try our best to answer them. Let's see. You asked that one. Okay. Bigfoot Fidesz says, Brandy, my question for you is if you think Gypsy is a reptilian or an alien, whatever we were talking about earlier on Donnie's show, I think is what she means.
Honestly, being on Donnie's show, I was kind of kidding about that. I think, because we were talking about the way she looks and but I'm thinking personally, when you look at her and you look into her eyes, especially in the pictures and interviews, you can see into her eyes, and you know how you can look at somebody and think there's something wrong with their soul, or you may say they're soulless or something like that. You look at her and I automatically am drawn to the point of, I think there is something missing. There's something wrong with her soul. There's a lot of famous celebrities out there today that have that same type of look. Even people in our government that have that look. It's just like there's something wrong with their soul. I'm not going to say they're soulless. I think that just something is broken. That's what I think's wrong with her.
Have you guys ever noticed this? Like, okay, going back, this is way before my time, but Gone with the Wind. You look at the actors, look at Clark Gable and look at Vivian Leigh, and you're going like, these are good-looking people. I mean, Gable was just charming, dashing, Rhett Butler, and you had Vivian Leigh, and she was so beautiful. Like, goodness gracious, these people were gorgeous. Yeah. Jane Mansfield, another beautiful. These people, Marilyn Manson, and even Elvis. I mean, these were wonderful-looking people. Like, and that's who you saw on television. You saw these dashing, handsome, beautiful people, good-looking people, and now when you turn on the television, there are garbage pail kids on there, and you're just like, well, what is that? I don't want to be ugly or mean or whatever, but I'm going to be ugly, and I don't care. The hand tail, the maiden of the tail, what is it called? What is the show? Handmaid's Tale. The blobfish on there. Why would you look at this woman's face? I mean, oh my gosh, dude.
Thankfully, I haven't seen that.
I mean, there's some people that you're looking at these people. There was this one woman on the other day, and her face was real angular, and you could cut a roast on it. I'm like, hey, what is this? What is wrong with these people? And of course, there's one particular side of the aisle that's like, they're just people. Well, yeah, Quasimodo, and look at you. I mean, of course you're gonna say that. And one of them's like, he comes out and he's like, I'm from Minnesota, and you're like, what? Dude. I mean, we're kidding ourselves here. What happened to the pretty people, the beautiful people? They took them all off of the air, and they said, look at this weird mismatched garbage pail, and they put it up there. Yeah. And then everybody's supposed to applaud and go, whoa. And then there's a scene. I watched part of this, the Handtail, whatever, the lady, the Handmaid's Tale. He comes out and he's like, you look stunning. And I'm like, what are you seeing, dude? You have to suspend reality to think that blobfish looks even remotely touchable. Like, you better have a gun to make me kiss you, lady. I mean, real. And this is what they do. They roll this garbage out, right? And then you're supposed to suspend reality, beyond suspend reality, and then go, yeah, I could see myself. Yeah, I know. I just can't do it. I can't. I mean, I would give my right pinky to kiss Vivian Leigh. I would give my right pinky to get away from blobfish. That's the difference, man. You see these people, garbage people. This is what they're doing to us. These people, they're in charge. They know what they're doing. They're desensitizing us to the ugly because they want to roll these reptoids out. So when they're sticking their tongues out and licking the flies off their eyeballs, you're just going like, oh, that's just normal. That's just Tom. Well, there's a few werewolves there on the 9th hole. Just play through. It's all.
Go ahead.
No,
but that does bring me to the point. Yeah, that brings me to the point that Hollywood has lost the glamour.
Yeah,
they have lost it. But do you think it is because of back in the day, what we're talking about, those actors and actresses and things that we didn't hear about the dark stuff in their lives. They kind of hid that. They even hid marriages, children, all kinds of stuff. But today we hear everything about, even if they have toe fungus. We hear about that now. You know what I mean? It's kind of like,
yes, my lord.
is that what's making, you know, these people ugly? Is that it?
I mean, and you look at this whole case here, right? They're not good-looking people. I mean, let's be honest, and we're just putting it up on a pedestal. I could imagine, you know, a lot of the time when these celebrities would have something like what happened with the Manson murders, you know, Tate. I mean, she was a beautiful. I mean, look at her.
Right.
She was horrible. She was a beautiful woman, and so, you know, you did think about it, and you thought, you know, what a horrible thing, right? Sharon Tate, right? But you look at these people, and you're like, ugh, like I don't even want to look at these people. I don't want to see this person dancing around. I don't want to.
Right.
But it's pushed on you, and I think it's systematic. I do, and people think that I'm just totally on this conspiracy thing, whatever. Maybe I am. I don't know, but I just think that that's part of it, man, because they desensitize you to what beauty really is and to what is aesthetically pleasing, so that you will lower your standards and be okay with looking at someone in the eye that is a demonically possessed or obsessed person, and you're just going to be like, oh, it's okay. They look like a spider, you know. I mean, I'm not, you know, and it's okay. Right. I know, dude, because I see these people and I could see the demon on them, and I'm just like, oh. And you have to deal with them. You see it on them, and then you have to deal with them. And in my job, I have to do that. And I really think that this is something that, with this girl and her mother, you know, and the guy, oh my gosh, the guy that she got to do this stuff, you know, I mean, they're not good looking people. And I'm not trying to be about ugly people. I'm not the most beautiful person in the world, whatever, but I'm average, right? But, you know, if I'm going to watch a television, there better be somebody on there that I can look at and go, oh, he looks like a human, you know?
It looks like a human. Yes.
Something with this crap, you know, than making us watch the Honey Boo Boo All Grown Up or whatever. This is crazy.
I'm just glad I've never seen any of these programs. Jeez, I'd be cringing right now. Before we continue on with the fantastic show, thanks to everybody who's coming on in. I want to do this since everyone's still in the chat room. I like to do this. I want to thank Daniel Mahonu. He's a new pirate. I can't read. Zara
Gonzalez.
Look at Kurt's comment right there, Rob. Kurt W75. He says it is forced on you, and they think over time it will just become the normal and just give in. Makes you really see your own worth and resilience. See, he gets it. Kurt understands. Yeah, that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing to us.
I like Kurt. I met Kurt not too long ago. He's an awesome guy. Thanks, Kurt, for that comment. It's awesome. Bigfoot Fidesz, thank you. Lawrence, thank you. And there's Kurt right there. Thanks to Kurt. And let's see who else. Werewolf R. Christina Gomez. Benno. Hello. Thanks to Benno. I want to get this out of the way because I appreciate all of you. Not expected, always appreciated with donations. Amy, the first mate of this chat room. And Mr. Gary Lopez is now a new pirate. Thank you.
That's Scorpion. He's one of my friends.
Scorpion, yes, that is Scorpion. That's right. It is Scorpion. Thanks, Scorpion. I like to do that before we, you know, we're not over yet, but I like to thank everybody while it's still here. So yes, thanks everybody. Okay, where were we?
There's more questions.
Yes, we're doing questions. Thanks, Krista. Thank you, Krista.
And you know, I got to say, well, if I needed that laugh, thank you.
I wasn't even trying to be funny. I was just being honest.
No, but there are ugly people in the world, and there are ugly people.
It's not about ugly. I mean, ugly people are ugly.
On television, used to be somewhat attractive.
Yeah, I mean, why? What happened to the pretty people? They don't do that no more. That's over.
Well, you know, the glamour of Hollywood is, again, we were all too young for that. My mom would always tell me, boy, it's just not what it was. When Hollywood was prestige, now Hollywood is Holly weird. back in the day, Clark Gable, I guess his name was, and all these people, yeah, they were superstars of Hollywood. But today, who do we have? Well, I don't know. Couldn't name one of them.
Yeah, they're gross.
Yeah.
It's like everybody getting participation trophies, and now they're getting their participation trophy by pushing them on us.
Yeah.
Yep.
And some people can't even be bothered to participate, and they want a trophy.
Yep.
Oh, and I hate, we're not doing this, Josh. You and I could talk about this forever. Getting the participation trophy in sports for finishing in last place. Take it and shove it. Krista, go on with the questions.
Okay. Maddie has a question. Rain, do you know if Gypsy was involved in online vampire groups?
Well, I know that she had a lot of fake accounts, Facebook accounts, emails, secretive. And that question, begs the other question. Is that where she got, this weird attachment? She started out with the obsession. Did she go on some of these websites and do these initiations or these rituals? And we know she was doing voodoo. I mean, she admitted it.
Right.
So probably.
Right.
And the FOIA stuff is just coming out every day. Every day people are going through it with a fine-tooth comb. So I'm sure we'll see exactly what her Google searches were and what vampire websites and all that.
Sure. Real quick, Rain, you said that we can see some of these videos on Into the Weeds podcast. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Into the Weeds podcast. Yes. Okay.
I'm writing it down.
I did, and I just wanted to make sure I got it right.
Yes, and they have everything listed and served up on a silver platter. So you can download the files of the emails, the messages, the breakdown. I mean, it's all there. So they've done a really good job putting the information together. Because, really, I think the media, the prosecution just failed.
Yeah.
It's all about money, the paper trail of money. So the news reporters who are going into the prison, interviewing her to get the Nightline special, the book deals, the TV shows, they didn't care what the facts were. They just wanted her to go on and get views and money. And I'm sure she profited. And so now with all these FOIA videos coming out, we don't have to listen to a liar anymore.
Right.
We do our own research and on YouTube and TikTok, all the names, there's a lot of people who are, justice for Dee Dee because they really feel like they failed her, and people are finding out a lot of stuff and a lot of inconsistencies, and it's really a group effort because the mainstream media, I don't really see them covering all this.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. All right, next question from Nellie. Do you think Gypsy Rose is from a bloodline of dark soul energy that vampires are, like a type of wicked lineage?
Lineage, yes.
Lineage.
I didn't mean to correct you. I'm sorry.
You were correct.
You were correct for once. Okay.
Am I supposed to answer this or what?
Well, yeah, that is your wife. You answer your wife's question. She wants last night or what?
I mean, what was the dark soul lineage? I mean, yeah, the short answer would be yeah. I mean, if I had to put an opinion on it, but the thing is, you really don't know. I mean, stop for a minute and look at where they were living.
Right.
Like I said yesterday, it's known for two things: voodoo and vampires.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stories that come out of that. And do you believe that these people reincarnate? Well, that's the first question. And the majority of the Abrahamic faith people will say no. And they base that on one or two verses. And I'm not going to get into a big old whatever. One of them, and I'm just going to say, it is for a man to live but once and die, right? Once, right? But I believe it's like this. And what is that verse? Look it up, guys, and tell me the exact verse. It's Christ speaking, right? What that means is, like, if you are Rob, you are only going to live once as Rob, and you're going to die once as Rob. You're not going to come back and be Rob again, right? There is no other Rob.
Right.
But when you die, you are not Rob. And one of the things that Jesus argued with the apostles about many times, and he got frustrated with them because they were like, well, our wives are going to be with us in heaven. And he's like, no, they're not. And they're like, well, wow, I don't understand. And he's like, no, because you don't understand what happens to you when you cross over. You are not of the flesh anymore. You are no longer Peter. You are no longer Paul. You are no longer John. You are no longer. That's how it works, right?
Hebrews 9:27.
Hebrews 9:27. Yeah, and so they use that verse, but people like to cherry pick pieces of the Bible. Everybody does it. But the Muslims have something similar. They do the same thing, but to me, it's because they think that all you got to do is do whatever it is that you want to do, right? And then say, well, forgive me, God. And as long as you do it before you die, well, you're good. No, because if you read the book of Enoch, did you realize in the book of Enoch, there is a jail in heaven? I don't know if people know that. That's kind of disappointing, isn't it? Because you're like, yeah, I made it. And they're like, yeah, now you can go serve your sentence and then you'll be free to go. Because there is literally a lockup up there. It's plain right there.
That's interesting you say that, because I envision this about heaven. I envision having my mansion, and I thought all my gardeners and my cooks and the people that did my lawn, I thought they were like the people in purgatory working for me. And I'm honest, God, believe that. But it's my opinion. But a jail in heaven, wow.
There's a jail in heaven, and that is a weird thing. But the alternative would be to be in torment and be, that would be. So to me, I would take the sentence in heaven. At least you do your time and then you're set free to go and whatever, rather than be tormented in a hell realm, which is, we've talked about it on the show before. These beings, when you encounter these beings, they'll take you into a sub-reality. What do you call it?
Pocket reality.
Pocket reality, yeah. And I think that these vampires, that's what they do, because there have been so many cases that we've covered, and we've had people tell us right to our faces, like, yeah, dude, I don't remember. I know something happened, and now I want to drink blood. And you're just like, this is bizarre. It sounds like some kind of mental psychosis, but you also got to remember mental psychosis comes from somewhere. And what we talked about yesterday with this Visago, what did we say? That he is the master of forgetting. He makes you forget things. Then he makes you remember things, and it's inopportune, right? And so think of it like this: the sneakiness of this. A lot of vengeance, right? Say that somebody wrongs you or says something to you that you're angry about, and you pray and you forgive and you go on, and then all of a sudden at the wrong time, you remember something about that, and then you become anger. It swells up in your heart. That's him. That's what he does. And then you take vengeance. And when you are in that cycle, there is no forgiveness. And we know when people die, when they have NDEs or OBEs, when you die without forgiveness, without love, when you don't have that, you don't make it. They'll always say, I was going to a dark place. They hear a voice saying that you need to forgive and you need to let go. But if you keep revisiting the transgression that somebody did to you, that you feel like they did to you, do you truly, really forgive them? Because to truly forgive is just to forgive and forget. I hear people say this one all the time. I'll forgive, but I'm not going to forget. And then I tell them, I said, well, if you don't forget, then guess what? You're going to never truly forgive, because every time you think of that, it's going to be brought back to the forefront. How many times do you think Gypsy Rose, get this, think about this. How many times do you think that child thought about every little thing that her mother had ever done to her? Because when you want to go to war with someone, you want to hurt someone, that you have to psych yourself up, right? Unless you're just a complete sociopath, you have to psych yourself up to be angry with that person. Have you ever noticed that when you know somebody has a bone to pick with you, every little thing about you can feel it, you know it. You'd be like, well, here's your drink. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're gonna hand it to me like that? Huh? Okay. You're like, oh, okay, I get this is where I know where this is going, right? You know, they're over there looking at you and they're like, Mr. Two Eyes and a Nose and a Mouth. Yeah. They'll find anything, any kind of, oh, you just want to breathe all my air? What's up, dog? What's up? You breathe my air? You're like, okay. So somebody tuned you up, somebody turned you up, and now you're gonna get hurt, right? But this is you got to deal with this person because this person wants to fight you. And it is so hard to talk somebody out of their own whatever machinations. But that's what Visago does. That's his job. He makes you remember when it is inopportune. Hey, you got to do something about this. This person, they disrespected you, right? Right. So she psychs herself up with her boyfriend. She runs to the bathroom. Oh no, and he does the deed. Right. At any given time, she could have ran out of that bathroom and picked up the phone and called the police.
Yep.
At any given time, she could have been like kind of snuck past him, maybe if he was just a raging lunatic, and then just been like, hey, there's this crazy guy who worships the devil. He's killing my mom. That didn't happen. That did not happen. No, she just hid in the bathroom, which is, and here's another weird thing. The jinn, according to the Levantian lore, or the jinn, the shadim, whatever you want to call them, whether you're Jewish or Arabic, you know what their favorite place is? The bathroom. Their favorite place is the bathroom. Tony, you went to Jamai. Your stepdad was Islamic at one point. I knew his stepdad. He changed religions about 3 times, but at one point he was Islamic, right? And what did he tell you about that? What did they teach you in Jamai?
Well, the bathrooms, they like to hang out in dirty areas. So when you go to mosque, what you're supposed to do is you go into the bathroom and wash your entire body. But basically, really, you just wash your feet, your hands, and your face, and you clear out any blockages you have. Like you would clear your nose out and stuff like that. And then before you enter, you're supposed to say Bismillah, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, basically to release any spirits that are following you so that you don't bring anything along with you or while you leave.
The worst thing you can do is hang out in the bathroom too long because, and this is for obvious reasons, I mean, there's only so much you can do in the bathroom. What's in the bathroom? A mirror. That's vanity, right? And then your ablutions, basically, you're clearing your body of whatever. And then there's another thing that you might do in there, and that's inappropriate with yourself. You know what I mean? But that's literally what they teach you. And I'm telling you, I mean, I'm just being honest. We're all adults here, right? But that's what they teach you. They say don't hang out in the bathroom. When I was raised as a Baptist, I was baptized as a Catholic, and then as a Baptist, and then non-denominational. I've been baptized 3 times. So if baptism were to get you to heaven, I'd be there. I'd be fine. But that's not all you need. But when you're a child, when I was a Baptist, they would tell us, they would say, don't hang out in the bathroom 5 minutes. You go in there, do your business, get out. They was very strict about it. Nothing good happens in the bathroom. That's what the preacher used to say. Brother Blair would always say that. Children, nothing good happens in the bathroom. You go in there, you do your business, and you get out. That's what you do,
So
right?
you need to quit taking your phone and playing the games.
Taking your phone, you get hemorrhoids if you take your phone and you play with the game too much. You're like, oh, what am I doing? And then the proctologist tells you should stop playing with your phone in the bathroom. I'm like, that's how I do all my work.
Yeah,
right? That's why I'm literally talking to witnesses in the bathroom. The point is, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to just leave it outside. My wife always tells me, don't take that phone in there. You can leave it here. Okay.
Yeah. But, I kind of touched on that last night about her being in the bathroom.
I don't believe it.
I think because it was her mother, maybe she just didn't want to see it. But like I said, she listened to it. It's not like she was playing music in there or plugging her ears or doing anything else but being in the bathroom, according to what she said. So she was listening to all of this happen with no remorse.
No remorse. And everything screaming in her ear, telling her to remember every bad thing her mother had ever done. So she has that gall to sit there and allow it to happen because and then you forget You forget. Have you ever noticed, like, you do something for somebody, and I'm not trying to keep score. That's not correct to ever do that. But you've done things for people that were really good, and they turn it out of they dump it out of their mind like a sieve. Just went right through, and they'll come at you and do the most heinous things. They will stick that knife right in the back.
Yes.
And then you're going like, golly, and you look at them like, Brutus, how could you do this? Look what I did for you. They don't care. Because, this guy, Visago, that's his job. He makes you forget. And I guarantee he's not making you forget anything but the good stuff. You forget that. Remember the negative and act on it. Because to be a predator like a vampire, that's what a vampire is a predator. You have to be willing to slaughter the cow and not think of anything good between you and the cattle.
But I think this goes back to what Rob was saying about her being smart. I think that she knew that if she played a part in it or was there to watch it or anything like that, that her prison sentence was going to be a lot more. She knew that she was going to go to prison. They all knew this. Everybody knew it. It's just I think that she was smart because she only got 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
she only did 8 years, I think.
8 years, yeah.
She took a plea deal.
A plea deal.
But I think she was actually, because she had so much rage, I think she wanted to see what was going on, and he just covered for her that she did not watch.
Yes, I think she
There you
came
go.
out, and I have reason to believe that.
That's probably more the real story, because I don't believe she sat in there and just listened.
No, right.
Because of the rage, I think she enjoyed watching.
Right.
And I have reason to believe she participated.
Yeah.
It's funny though that she did say that she went to the bathroom because that is where the dirty place.
Yeah,
But I don't
Rain,
like you said, I don't believe that's
It's very dirty.
yeah,
Yeah,
Rain,
why wouldn't
you
you
had-
walk into another room or, go in the kitchen if it happened in the bedroom or something else?
Yeah. Rain, you had mentioned yesterday that you had evidence around the crime scene that made you believe that she was a part of it. And you said you were going to mention about something.
Yes, Natalie, thank you. Thank you because I forgot that. And I remember it was late last night.
I remember
on
that as
Josh's
soon as
show.
she said that, I was like, oh. So can you touch on that, please? Because I'm very interested in about that.
Sure. So I think it goes back, like I said, to 2011 when she had planned the first time to run away. It didn't work out. She came back and this is in my opinion and speculation, and this is also from her book. She attempted to unalive her mother. So her mother, for some reason, felt she needed protecting, so she had bought a pew-pew and put it in the nightstand. And Gypsy admits that she shot her mother 10 times. And to her surprise, it was a pellet gun. When they went back in 2015 and looked into the crime, there was still the markings on the wall. Okay. Wow. She also admits she had held a knife type of dagger over her mother on the toilet, threatening her. Okay. Now, when I think of Dee Dee, okay, I know a lot of people have the opinion still that she was the one who was forcing her daughter to be sick. I have reason to believe that that's not the case. And would it surprise you if I told you it really, from what I'm finding, it wasn't Gypsy who went to the police and said, my mom was making me sick, that it was actually suggested by her lawyers that is what happened, that the person who diagnosed the mother with the Munchausen's by proxy never even met the mother. And so this was all kind of done to help Gypsy get less time so she would testify against Nick. So that happened in 2011. Then she met Nick online and starts grooming him with these multiple personalities and this vampire and the costumes and the wigs. And, this Ruby is really good at stealing. Here's how to steal. I could unalive somebody if I wanted to. I'm going to scratch up your ex-girlfriend. All these images planting to him that that's what she's capable of. Leading up to the unaliving in 15, she even says when she's Demona, she says, and if you and me go on a unaliving spree, I can do it, but if it's somebody that I have an emotional attachment to as Gypsy, then that's on you. You're gonna have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So she was really grooming this guy. You'll be able to see in the FOIA videos.
Wow.
Okay. So then leading up to, she steals the weapon from Walmart. Okay. She steals the money from her mother to pay for him to come. Okay. She's telling him, my mother doesn't like you, because she had already set up for him to come visit one time to a Cinderella premiere and set it up. And instead of being like, hey, Mom, this is so-and-so, this is my friend or whatever, and introducing it, she had him sit behind them like he's a creep in the movie theater. And then when she left, her mom's like, who's that boy? So she left and she told Nicholas Godejohn, oh, my mom didn't like you, and she was so mad that she locked me in the shed all night. Okay. Why are there FOIA release Facebook messages of her on her laptop at 2:50 a.m. if she was locked in the shed at night? And then again at 6 a.m. So her stories are not adding up. All these interviews, all these books she's done, they're not adding up anymore. Okay. So then we'll go ahead and we'll get to the crime, the night. Okay, so he is in another state. He takes a bus, which she paid for, because she was abusing the mother by stealing her pills. She was going through her mail. She was going through her emails. Those are a form of digital abuse when you do things like that, okay? And her mother. Oh, by the way, her mother actually filed a police report 1 month before because she said somebody had broken in and stole her medicine. Because not a lot of people realize this, Dee Dee was very, very sick. She had endometriotic cancer. So they're like, how was Gypsy out of her wheelchair filming all these videos? Her mom was very, very sick, and she was very, very heavyset. She had a hard time moving around. Okay. So she filed the police report. And it's funny, she also filed a police report in 2011 when she got shot with the BB gun or pellet gun 10 times. But you know what she did? She told the police that she got robbed at Walmart, and there's Facebook messages to show that. So she covered for Gypsy.
Wow. She enabled her.
Yes. I think she realized she had a monster, and maybe she was protecting the world from her own daughter. But Dee Dee was getting fed up, and she couldn't do it anymore. And Gypsy was used to being catered and spoiled and everything she wanted her whole life by her loving mother, who she had said on Facebook posts what a great mother she was. Everybody who knew Dee Dee said she gave the most squishable hugs, and she was a wonderful person. And so she had looked online after the police report of her filing of the missing medicine. She Googled, what are the most stolen pills by your child? So she knew her daughter had stolen the medicine. She also said that there was money missing. So she paid for the boy to come and unalive her, because the money that was used for him to get the hotel and the bus ticket was stolen from her. That is sick. And so the next thing she Google searched a little while later was youth homes for troubled youth, homeless shelters for troubled youth in directions. She was in the process of kicking Gypsy out, is what we believe. It's speculation, but that's what the people who are going through the FOIAs, and I personally believe, went on here. And so that's why also when we get into the crime scene photos, you'll see bags and all this stuff, right? Because she was trying to kick Gypsy out, and Nick said that. So the night of the unaliving, Nick had texted his friend because they knew what Gypsy. And she said, what's going on with Gypsy and the mom? And she goes, oh, her mom kicked her out, but she doesn't have all her stuff together yet, so she's not gone.
Yeah.
Gypsy felt entitled to that house. She think that house should have been hers because she had gotten it because she's the one in the wheelchair.
Habitat for Humanity house.
Right, right.
Mhm.
So there's, part of the motive. If her mom was out of the way, she would have the money, the house, the fame, because if she could have gotten away with this, she would have been the victim. Oh, my poor mom, which is what she tried to do when she got arrested. So she had, I mentioned about the grooming, which you'll have to go check out the videos. So he says he's on his way. Now we're getting close to the witching hour. Okay. It's like 2 a.m. Dee Dee's asleep in her bed. Now I'm going to have you visualize. Okay. So the house, Gypsy and her mom's bedrooms are directly across from each other. Their doors face each other. Gypsy texts Nick and says, I have the rubber gloves. Put them on when you get to the door. And she was going to give him the weapon. So he gets there and he says, if you get scared of my Victor voice, don't let it scare you, basically. And after she agreed, she wanted one of the role plays that I had talked about was she wanted to be raped, right? Okay, so they talk about that a little bit. She says she's going to go in the bathroom and shave her legs. Because in what Nicholas said in his interrogation, she didn't think he was going to do it. He kept asking her, are you sure this is what you want? Several times. She didn't think he was going to be able to do it. So she was going to go lock herself in the bathroom and told him, if it doesn't work out, then you run out the back door. Right. So then she would have just said, oh, it was an intruder or whatever. So that's why she went in the bathroom, was because she wanted to make sure he started doing it. And the mom didn't have the pew or anything to defend herself. And so that's why I think she was in the bathroom. She said she was going to shave her legs to him. Wow. So then he goes in. Now I'm going to paint this to you. And if you decide you want to go look at the crime scene photos, you're welcome to. Okay, so the bed, she likes to sleep on her stomach. So she's sleeping on her stomach. Okay. There are 17 stab wounds. There are some on the left side of her body. There are some on the right side of her body. Okay. Nicholas is left-handed. Gypsy is right-handed. Okay. So you have on each side of the bed, you have markers of where the police found, and they label them with the little yellow with the blood. Okay. On both sides of the bed with the blood trails. Both of Gypsy and Nick said he went to the bathroom as soon as it was over. Gypsy said she went to the kitchen because she was going to get a Band-Aid. Nick had cut his finger and a glass of water. Okay. So not only do you have marks in the mother's back that are indicative of right hand and left-handed people, do you have different lengths, or not lengths, but distances from where the punctures went in? There's a difference. It indicates two different variations of the stabbing. But you also have where the yellow markers are on the side of the bed. You have a blood trail that's indicative of a person with the left hand, that would be left-handed holding the weapon, going to the bathroom. And you have a blood trail of a person on the right hand with right-handed going to the kitchen. Right where she said she was going to go. But the crazy thing to me is the weapon that they discovered, because Gypsy set it up that way, right? She left one of Nick's gloves in the bedroom, and she took one of Nick's gloves and the knife, and they mailed it to where they were running away to his house in another state. Why wouldn't she put both gloves in the envelope? Because she was covering herself that one of the gloves was going to be at the crime scene and one of them was going to be at Nick's house.
Wow.
And so the weapon that they had, that she had stolen from Walmart, that she admitted to, it's a serrated knife, which is 6 inches long. Number 12 of the puncture wounds on the back of the mother on the autopsy. Why is it 7 inches deep?
Oh, okay.
Wow. So why didn't they come with all of this before she went to trial? Like, I mean, this should be first degree second degree.
Because everybody felt sorry for Gypsy, didn't they? Yep. She came off as this little sweet, innocent. She told them that he groomed her, that he was the vampire, that she is a master manipulator. Master. She says in her email she knows how to plan things out very well.
Obviously, she does.
Yeah.
And he's slow. He is slow. He tried to, tell the truth the best he could, but then if you look at the interrogation video, he's talking to something else. And what I think I hear him say is, truth won't make a difference. Truth is, I could have did it. Mumbling, I think he says protect her. Anyways, but I know who did it, and I want to save her. That's what I think I hear him saying. Now, you can listen, edit it, try your best, maybe I'm wrong. That's what I think I'm hearing him say.
Wow.
He wanted to protect her, and he was just one stop onto her the rest of her life. So if she got caught, then he was going to take the fall. She never thought they were going to get caught. And if she didn't get caught, then she would be off as somebody else.
Man.
That's
I don't even know what to say to that.
It changes the whole motive.
Yeah.
It does
He
change
said
the
the
motive.
mom was forcing her to have a larynx surgery, and that's why she decided, right? But really, Gypsy, she was forcing you to have that surgery to fix your squeaky voice. Well, then why didn't you talk like you do now? Because you certainly lost that squeaky voice now, didn't you? So if you didn't want that surgery, why didn't you just talk normal then?
Oh, that squeaky voice. I was
says.
watching these videos. Just annoyed me to no end.
Yeah, it's annoying.
It's annoying.
Wow.
I gotta tell you, we could keep going. We've gone 2 hours. I think that we did a great job, you guys. Part 1 was on the blondes and the booze. Part 2 is on a Paranormal Roundtable. We finished it up tonight, the 3rd installation. And I'm going to clap because I think you guys did a great job in all aspects. Rain, pleasure to meet you. You come with the facts of the actual
great,
crime.
Rain. That was awesome.
You were great. And Josh is always great introducing his history, the paranormal. His show yesterday was fantastic. I think this one was good.
I do too.
Well,
it was great. What am I saying? I don't want, I'm not clapping my back. You guys made the show. The audience made the show.
Yes, definitely.
You guys rock. I appreciate.
I think we should do one of these quarterly. That's
maybe a quarterly collab is fine with me.
All of us right here, including you too, Rain. Because honestly, you're awesome.
Yes, and Rain, I need to look me up on Facebook. I want to follow you and stuff like that. I don't know what you do for a living, but
okay. Yeah. I don't have social media, but I'll find a way to.
Oh, you want to know? Okay, yeah, great.
Well, Rain and I have plans to do a show, and we haven't announced the whole like how we're going to do it. We were talking about doing it on the Random Files, but the Random Files, folks, just so you know, is probably going to become something for all of us, kind of behind the scenes. We do different things,
All right.
We've talked about it, and everybody has their own like
Mhm.
things that they want to do. And Nellie's got dead zone transmission now, which is really
Mhm.
good. It's really,
It
really
is.
good. I'm not just saying it's because she's my wife. I'm brutally honest. Like she does things, and I'm like, that sucks. Look, don't.
Well, I need Nelly to send me the link or
I'm
whoever,
kidding. I
Josh.
don't talk to my wife like that. No, I just when she the dead zone transmission, she didn't even discuss it with me. Like, I mean, it was just like she's like, I did a thing, and I just was like, okay. And then it was like there were like 2 or 3 episodes already, and I was like, wow.
Mhm.
But I think Rain is going to be, I think you're going to be an all-star. I think
Yeah.
you're going to
Yeah,
do
a
this
lot of good
true crime
comments I'm
paranormal.
pulling
Yeah.
up here for Rain. They
Yeah.
love
Look
you,
at it from
Rain.
the spiritual aspect. I think it's very important because that's something that gets overlooked quite a bit. And I think that people, they get puppeteered by these beings and they don't even realize it.
Right.
One of the most important things that we were talking about earlier, the NPC, you got to be careful for these people because they're homogenized beings. They don't have any kind of anything. And if you don't stand for, the saying, if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. And that just, they are trying to make an entire new generation of this bull crap. That's why that is, these kids, they don't know what looks good. I mean, they think Zendaya, is that her name? They think she's pretty. I'm like, where, what, on where, on what?
Right.
Understand it. They say she's beautiful, and you can be 267 different types of people, genders, whatever. No, you can't.
Mhm.
No. And that's a problem. That's a problem. And so it's up to us to push back and to bring these people back to reality and be like, look, man, but the real reality really is that we are in a spiritual war. This is a spiritual warfare. I
Yeah.
think that what happened with Gypsy and her mother, I think it's indicative of a sick society, and it has been propagated, and the worst of us are being put up on pedestals, and the people that need to be looked at as like decent people, they're made to be the bad guys.
Mhm.
I think that's the problem, right? I really do. I mean, everybody villainized. I'm gonna say, Robert Kennedy, RFK.
Right.
That guy, he is a testament. Like, he works out. He's a strong individual, and all they do is tear him down and trash him and talk bad about him and a horrible person he is, because he left that other side and said, "Hey, there's a problem." He said, "There's a problem here." There is, and they don't want to admit that they're demented and sick, and
Yeah.
they promote sick ideologies, but they literally serve, Moloch.
Mhm.
I mean, it's everywhere. The imagery is everywhere. It's
Yeah.
absolutely everywhere. They are satanic. They don't come right out and tell you they're satanic, but look at every Super Bowl halftime. Just look at it. Look at
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Every freaking Super Bowl halftime for the last however many years has been a satanic ceremony.
Yeah,
That's
they've been showing the
what it
signs.
is.
They've been doing these little hand gestures
Yeah.
that show
And
the
yes, and
yeah.
did they not even do something similar? I heard a couple 3 years ago on one of these award shows, which I haven't
Yeah,
watched in
they
decades.
did.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And I've argued with people that say, well, that person loves God because Katy Perry, she got up there and says, I'm going to thank God. I said, ask Katy who God is to her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They don't say, I want to thank Christ. They say, I want to thank God.
It's the Golden Globe Award.
God to them is Moloch.
Oh, boy.
Truth.
Well, let me leave
I
you with
believe you.
one haunting thought of this case.
Yes. Okay, Rain.
Okay. So I want you all, when you look at Gypsy Rose today and we see what happens with her, because everybody's going to be following this from now till doomsday.
Right.
I want you to look at her and see that tattoo on her back that she has.
Okay.
Okay. And she tattooed a phoenix on her back.
Mm.
What are phoenixes known for? Rising out of the ashes.
Oh.
How was her mother's body taken care of?
Cremated.
So she's rising up to her fame off of the death of her mother.
Yep.
And when they found her mother's body, do you know what was on her bottom? written in her own mother's blood was a V. Was it V for Visago? We don't know.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow.
And you know how she says she's unbothered by all of this. You know why?
Yes.
Because she's a damn sociopath. But the God that she serves, Visago, he helps you forget.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He helps you forget. You don't have to remember anything bad.
Right.
And I think he would be the patron of most sociopaths. You don't have to remember anything. You just do.
Well,
Right.
Right?
This has been awesome.
You know what, Natalie? First of all, I want to thank Natalie, Krista, Brandy, Mary Lynn, Rain, of course, Josh, for these 3 great days of this. I really enjoyed this. I think we all did our due diligence. We looked a lot of things up. Everybody was prepared. And we went all over from true crime to the paranormal to vampires and everything else in between, which is what we do.
Uh-huh.
So thank you, you guys, and thanks to everybody. We've got, I think, between the 3 channels, you guys, there's over 20,000 views already.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
That's awesome, you guys.
Fantastic.
Subscribe to Josh Turner, PRT, if not already. The Blondes and the Booze, good old BMR. Natalie, I think you have a podcast that I've seen. What's it called? Bones and Gravy?
I'm sorry, what?
Is it called Bones and Gravy, your new podcast?
You're talking about the talk show Beyond the Ordinary?
Beyond the Ordinary. I thought it was that. Yes. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yes, Beyond the Ordinary is out.
Where I got Bones and Gravy from?
I don't
Whatever.
know, but that's pretty cool. We got to do that one next.
Bones
and Gravy.
I just
Yeah,
changed your channel. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Every Sunday comes a brand new interview with the team. It's so cool. And we have a lot of great guests, and we go all over the place, from paranormal to cryptids to high strangeness and everything in between. So check it out.
And Mary Lynn also has a channel.
Yes, of course, Krista. Yes, thank you.
Well, I didn't know if you knew.
I know that Mary Lynn. I was going to her next. My lord,
you don't know.
Now we'll never know now if he really was or not.
That's right, Josh. Mary Lynn, promote yourself. What's going on?
Yeah, I have a Lost Goat podcast, and we are on Facebook and on YouTube as well.
Yep.
Oh, you're more than that, Mary. Well, we'll leave it.
Yeah. So we also have Para with the Normal TV show on Beacon.
Yes, come on, let's go. Come on. Do I have to pull it out of you?
And
what else are you doing for me? Huh? Swag?
I am
Swag?
I'm a marketing merchandiser and doing all that stuff. So yes,
and what do we have coming?
I have headgear coming, and we have hats and T-shirts and all that good stuff. And
I've got to train you, Mary. You got to be.
I just don't talk about myself much.
I'll train you. You got to be a salesman. If you don't ask for the order, you don't get it.
So, and I'm also a graphics designer.
Well, so nice to meet all of y'all. Thank you for having me on.
Rain.
Nice to meet you too.
I was leaving you for last. You were fantastic. You pulled it all together, Rain. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
You did a great
you're
job.
Awesome. Absolutely.
Great job. And really quickly, thank you to Daniel. I can't read. Daniel Zagafi, Bigfoot Fidesz, Lawrence, Kurt, Werewolf, Lawrence, another Christina, Benno, Gary Lopez, Scorpion, and Donnie for your contributions. Not expected, always appreciated. We are going to sign off, but before I go, there's still we had 230 at one point. Well, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
We had a solid 205 throughout the entire show. I'll take that every night of the week that I'm on, and the girls, and well, Josh gets a standard 600, but that's Josh. Yeah.
Standard. Standard.
Thanks to the paratroopers. Thanks to the pirates. We're going to leave with the little ditty from Fidesz. I just love Fidesz. Subscribe to Bigfoot Fidesz on YouTube. We're closing the show. Thank you to everybody. Thanks to everybody for coming on and hit the like button on your way out.
Nice.
And I got to figure out, I just figured out how to end the stream. Here we go. Good
Here
night.
we go.
Everybody.
Bye.
Yeah, good night.
Thanks for watching Bigfoot, Michigan, Rob, and beyond. Join the many. Join the few. Tuesday night p.m. Eastern, the squad is complete. Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, we bring the heat. Saturday 11 p.m. Eastern, the fire is on, the hunt is on, the roar is strong. Hit subscribe, ring the bell, BMR, we're raising hell.